What is up, guys? This is Max Square, and in this video we're going to be looking at an app called Newton Mail. So a couple weeks ago I received an email from one of the team members that made this app, and they asked me if I would do a review on the app if they gave me a free subscription to their app. So this app is a paid thing, and they gave me that for free. They set me up with a lifetime subscription, so shout out to them for giving me that. However, with or without that subscription, I would definitely be using this as my primary email client just because it's so clean and fun to use. Now, just before we dive in, I like to say this in all my reviews that yes, I do get this stuff for free, but I also put work into making these videos, and everything I say is stuff that I came up with myself. They didn't tell me to say any of this stuff, and this is a completely 100% honest review. I've actually used this app for over a week now just to get a feel for it and see how it actually copes in the day-to-day use. So that being said, let's get started. So quick history on Newton. Basically, it was CloudMagic up until recently, but they rebranded it and called it Newton. So pretty simple. But this is a paid app, so you can either pay $4 a month or $50 a year, but they do offer a 2-week free trial, so be sure to check that out. So jumping into the app, you can see that it has a really clean interface. You've got all your emails in the middle here, and if you want to look at your accounts, you can just click on the menu bar and jump between accounts here, and you can jump to your drafts, Outbox, whatever you want to look at, and as soon as you hover away, that menu slides off. Now, for each email, you've got pretty default info. You've got the sender, you got subject, and a quick preview, nothing too fancy. However, if you hover over each email, you've got a set of icons that allow you to perform some quick shortcuts. So you can either set a reminder for yourself to remind yourself to check it later. If you click on that, you've got some icons to set it for later, tomorrow, or if you want to pick a specific time, you can do that as well. And moving on, you've got your delete, archive, moving, and marking as read. And if you click this little star icon, you can actually filter all your starred emails from the top. And the same thing goes for marking it as unread. So if you click on unread, it's going to filter all of these. But if I mark one of these as read, you can see it just filters those two. So taking a look at the email itself, you've got a pretty clean layout. So you can see you've got your subject at the top, and nice and bold, a lot of contrast there. But if you look next to the sender, you can actually click on the profile. Yes, that's what I look like, and it'll bring in some of the information you have for that person. So this is just myself, but it would usually bring in something like their phone number, their email, and all that awesome stuff, which of course syncs with your contacts. A couple other options here next to that icon. You can see you can reply, forward, whatever, but you can also save this to Evernote, and you can actually connect a bunch of different apps to Newton, and I'll get into that in just a second. And what's really cool is they actually do give you all the information you'd usually get from a default mail client, but they've actually hidden it just to make the interface a little more clean, so you don't get all the details like what precise second it was sent at, which is cool to know, but generally not that important. As you can imagine, composing an email is just as simple. So what you can do is, of course, type in who you want to send it to. That's generally pretty important. And you can say, hey, what is up, guys? This is Max Square, reporting to you live on a Sunday afternoon. You can also attach files here, and this is really nice the way they do this. They just pull it in at the bottom, give you all the details you need to know, but they don't just embed it in the body and take up all that useful space. And one cool feature I haven't seen in any other mail client that I know of is the ability to follow up. So you can actually be notified when the recipient reads your email, and if they don't, you can get a reminder and just be reminded to send them another email and follow up on that. And of course, you can schedule emails. So other than just sending yourself friendly reminders that you're awesome, you can do some pretty important things with this, as you can imagine. For example, as a student, I've had to remind teachers that I'm making up a test that day, and they like to be reminded at 6:30 a.m. and have to have the email in there, otherwise it just gets lost. So what I can do is write that email at 11 at night and have it scheduled to go out at 6, exactly when they want it. And so what you would do is either type in a date like January 6th and pick a time, or of course you can drop down the calendar and pick that as well. And of course, what would a Max Square review be without taking a look at them preferences? So of course you can add your mail accounts here. You can change the colors that you want it to use, and you can see that just shows up on the side of each email as well. Really quick to identify that. And you can also write signatures. They do support HTML. If you have like a business signature in HTML format, you can add that file by just dragging it in there. You got some general settings, of course. You can show all your inboxes, choose which account you want to send from by default. A couple other things, as you can see here, the show one badge when you get a new email, all that fun jazz in there. And under the Superchargers tab, you can take a look at the connected apps. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where you can actually add other apps and perform different actions with them, like saving an email to Evernote or adding a task to Todoist from an email, all that awesome stuff. You can see that they have a bunch here, and I'm sure they're going to be adding more as they come around. So pretty much concludes the walkthrough of the app. Now taking a look at some of the features that I would like to see added. They're not super big, but there's just a couple things. So one of the problems I had when I was connecting all my accounts is that I have a system where when I get an email, it either goes into like a to-do mailbox or archive it or delete it. So it's kind of 3 different things that I can go through so that I can clean out my mailbox. So basically at any point in time, there's pretty much nothing in my main mailbox, but there's emails in like my to-do and all those other subfolders. However, when I added in all my accounts, it brought in all of those emails no matter what I did. And if I deleted them all, they ended up coming back. So what I did to fix this was to sign out of all my accounts and then just sign back in, and I haven't had a problem since. So that is just a little bug, but I'm not sure if you're able to replicate that by doing the same thing I did. I'm not sure if that'll fix it again, but that is just one problem I had. Another thing is that you cannot move an email from one account to the other. So these are all coming in under my MacSquare email, but I couldn't move this to something like my Gmail account or iCloud account. So if I hit move here, these are all mailboxes inside of that account. And because I move all my emails under an iCloud mailbox so that it syncs across all my devices, I can't actually do that right now. So unfortunately, that has become kind of a big obstacle in me using this app. But for others, they don't use that system or they don't have as many accounts as I do, so they may not run into that problem. Now, one cool thing is that I have been working with the team throughout the process of reviewing this app and telling them my different features and giving them some feedback of what I'd like to see in the app, and they're already pushing out new updates to incorporate some of that stuff. And so guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.